That show where we talk about ethical, philosophical, and we have thoughts, discussions that will actually make you think deep, discussions that ordinarily you may not be so particular about them, but when we discuss them, it brings to light various issues that ordinarily you do or may not want to talk about. That's what we do on the Sun side, right here on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Remember, we are your number one talk radio station. My name is Okey Onwugbonu Double O. I'll be your guide on the show this afternoon, and we have a whole lot prepared for your listening pleasure today. We'll begin with our first segment, and on this first segment, we'll talk about this. Is moving on a betrayal? Is moving on a betrayal? Does loving again mean you didn't love your late spouse enough? That's a discussion we'll have from now up until 1 o'clock when we bring you trending stories. On the flip side of 1 o'clock, we should get into another discussion that is also family focused. And this time, we'll be asking, should parents sacrifice their happiness for their children? Should parents sacrifice their happiness for their children? You know, when a marriage seems like it's crumbling, the love between the spouses is waning, but because of the children, the parents will just feel like, oh, let's stay in this. Let's just stick with this, despite the fact that we know it's not working. We're no longer in love, but for the sake of our children, let's sacrifice and still be together. Not necessarily the decision of both parents, but the one who feels like he or she's not getting enough will still get stuck in that marriage, despite the fact that your heart, body, and soul is asking you to leave. But for the love of your children, you want to sacrifice for the happiness of your children. We'll have that discussion between 1 and 2 p.m. And at 2 p.m., it will be time for us to take another break and bring you news updates. After the news updates, we'll get into Mind, Body, and Soul. Mind, Body, and Soul is that program where we talk about health issues. Yesterday was World Cancer Day, and today we'll be talking about it. The theme for the World Cancer Day is United by Unique. So we'll talk about the awareness of cancer, the prevention, and probably the hope. We'll have some doctors come in here and join me on the show between 2 and 3 p.m. So we'll talk about cancer. Is it really a death sentence? All that will be the focus of our discussion between 2 and 3. Remember, we're live on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. And you can always join the conversation through WhatsApp. Drop a message for us on WhatsApp. We'll read those messages as we progress. 08090306416. That's the number for WhatsApp. 08090306416. Later on the show, we'll throw up on the phone line so you can join the conversation. So let's get started. Different mean you didn't love your late spouse enough? If a widow remarries probably just 2 years after losing her husband, will you say she loved him less? More like, it's just 2 years. You say you love him. Why are you moving on? It's too early. You need to grieve for a long period of time. If a widower finds companionship again, can you say he is healing or replacing? My friend lost his mom, and I think barely a year after the father remarried, people were like, now he don't go marry again. And they were explaining, my father loved my mom so much and she was his everything. Without her in his life, that man would crumble. He would die soon. We need to find him another companion so that he can live. That seems like a good excuse, right? So, when a widower finds companionship again, is he healing or replacing? When someone who once said, "You are my forever and ever," you are that person. If someone who once says that to you chooses to love again, is that betrayal? Or can we say the human heart is trying to live again? Losing a spouse is one of life's deepest pain. Except you've been there, you cannot explain it. Even if you feel like you know someone, maybe a friend, a brother, a sibling who lost a spouse, and you think you understand. No, you don't. You've not worn that shoe, so you cannot really say. In my university days, our lecturer lost his wife. That man was never himself. A few years later, he was gone too. At some point, he felt like he was losing it mentally. Some people do not know how to cope, so you cannot say you understand. You have never worn that shoe, except you have. But after the mourning, can we say life should continue? Or does life indeed continue? Yes, life continues. People will still wake up alone, and you cross your hand over to the part where your spouse used to be, and they find out that that place is empty. Your nights become longer and colder. When you have a good news to share with someone, the first person usually you want to call is your spouse. You cannot call your spouse again. At some point, you have to even make up your mind rather to delete that contact, because that number is useless. You can't call it. You are angry. You want to express how you feel so someone will console you. You want to reach out to your spouse, you cannot. The person is no longer there. You have children to raise. You have to raise these children alone. You face long nights, empty spaces where your partner used to be. Some eventually will get to open up your hearts again, but others will feel that doing so would just kind of dishonor the love they lost. And of course, the society has opinions too on this, very loud ones. Society will tell you this, society will tell you that. Society always has an opinion. Opinion based on religion, opinion based on culture, opinion based on people's own way of thinking, shallow or in-depth analysis, whatever it is. Society will have an opinion. So the question becomes not just emotional, it becomes a moral question. On one side of the divide, you have people who tell you that this feels like a betrayal. And those people on that side, they will believe that true love is once and forever. You cannot love another person, because forever in this case means not till death do us part. Until you particularly die, you should not love any other person, even if your spouse dies. They will tell you also that moving on will feel like replacing the person who died. How can you say this person is your love and you're replacing that person? I know a man who died, whose wife died not recently, about a year plus. She had a terminal issue. We saw how he struggled, and he was there for his wife all that period. But eventually, she died. He was so pained. He wrote so many beautiful things about her during her birthday that came a few months after. You could see how he eulogized her and all that. But eventually this woman passed and was buried. Barely a year later, we saw the same man on social media writing some equally beautiful words for another woman. And he got married to her. In fact, he had a particular he had what he was looking out for the next woman he would marry. He said he wanted a woman from a particular profession. Eventually, he got married to someone from that profession. So, did it look like, hey, this person didn't mean as much as you said the person meant, because this person just died and you're replacing the person who died? People on this divide, the divide I'm talking about that says it feels like betrayal, they will say staying single is seen as a sign of loyalty and deep devotion. To them, love should outlive death in a visible and permanent way. I love you, I cannot love another. Even if you die, I still love you. You cannot be replaced. That's how it is. And in summation, people on that divide, it's more like this. If they were truly the love of your life, how can there be another? If this person was truly the love of your life, how can you say you now have another love? How? People on the other side of the divide, they will tell you love doesn't end. Life continues. The argument is based on this. They say death ended the marriage, not the capacity for you to love. It only ended a particular marriage, but you still have the capacity, so you can fall in love again. They will tell you that loving again doesn't erase the love that came before. Because I've loving another person doesn't mean I never loved the one that passed. They'll say humans are wired for companionship. Because there's a vacuum, it has to be filled. They will tell you choosing happiness again doesn't mean forgetting the happiness you shared with someone that has passed. To them, moving on is not betrayal, it's healing. The heart doesn't have only one room. It can hold memory and new love at the same time. It can keep the memory of the one past. It can also hold a new love. It doesn't mean you will not remember that person. Now the big question is this: when someone loves again after a loss, are they dishonoring the past or honoring life by continuing to live fully? Did you get that? I'll take it again. When someone loves again after losing a spouse, are they dishonoring the past or honoring life by continuing to live fully? Is remarrying after losing a spouse betrayal or healing? How long can you say is long enough to grieve before moving on? Is it different for men and women? More like, oh, for men you can stay this long, but for women, no, you have to mourn. Can you really love two people deeply in one lifetime? Can you truly love two people deeply in just one lifetime? Join the conversation. Let's get to hear what you think. It's the Sunny Side on Radio 92.3, Nigeria Info, and today on the Sunny Side we're discussing is moving on, a betrayal. My name is Okey Onwugbonu, the double O. Call us up. Let's get to hear from you. You can also send a message via WhatsApp. The number for WhatsApp messages is 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. For phone calls, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007. Call us up. Let's get to hear from you. 92.3. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Mr. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Muriel from Africa.
Alright, good to have you join us. Have your say.
Okay. I think in a lifetime, someone cannot love people deeply. It cannot be the same day. Yeah, it's okay to say you love this person again. You love this person now, but trust me, love have different depth. And then I think somebody cannot love. A person cannot love two people to that same depth. Look, my neighbor lost his wife, and then they were so close. Always gisting. In fact, when you say two people are gisting partners, oh my God, they are always gisting. They are always laughing and so close, and they come from the same tribe, the same community. So they're always speaking their language and laughing and talking and all the time in their shop. So when he lost this woman, I could not believe it. In fact, it was up to now I've not been able to come to terms that this woman is gone. Now, yesterday I was coming back and I saw him. He sat down outside. Oh my God. It was in the night and I almost dodged him. I wanted to dodge him because I felt so pity. I felt so bad for him because his wife and he was supposed to be there at that time. I felt so bad for him. But it's not long. It's not enough to. It's just a few months ago. But